Today we're just going to look at the new updates within the SMARTcurriculum application related to the Early Career Teachers Framework and how we've adapted the reports and information based on the new guidance. So this guidance revolves mostly around the staffing tab. So we're going to navigate to the staffing, and then apart from the general reporting at the top, you'll see the first evidence of change here within the contact ratio. Within the contact ratio, we've added a section which is including the training. So here we've identified training time that's taken from the teacher capacity. So it will impact on contact ratio. It would have been hidden previously within unassigned time, but now we have a tab which suggests that staff have been given training time. So the training time is highlighted. You'll notice also that the no TLR has also disappeared from the supplement tab on the chart. It now only identifies people that have TLR 1, 2 and 3 of the main body of teaching staff, those staff that are not leaders. So let's just go and have a look at where this data is drawn from. So here we're going to go to edit teaching staff. Okay, on the staffing table, filter to teachers, you'll notice that we have changed the status and added a training column which will identify members of staff who are engaged in training activities. So instead of us identifying teacher 9 as an NQT, they will be identified as having qualified teacher status, and then they will be on their early year teaching, early career teaching framework year 1, or in subsequent years you will be able to add them to early career framework 2. We've left the NQT classification in should you require it, but eventually that will be not required, but it's there just at this point. So you will identify the cell which is right for this particular teacher. But while we've gone through and added this facility for early career teacher 1 and 2, we've also given you the capacity to identify leaders that are on national professional qualifications. You will also note that an unqualified member of staff may be or may not be on a career entry program. We've identified this as CEP, a career entry program. So for unqualified staff, they might be on a career entry program, Schools Direct, Teach First, or one of the SCIT schemes, and you might have some time identified for those staff. An unqualified teacher may not be on a career entry program and therefore be on a full allocation. Once you've identified the program that the members of staff are engaged in, we will move across to what you will know as non-contact time. The non-contact time you apply to a member of staff who has leadership responsibilities. Rather than using the standard non-contact time or management time, we've given you the capacity, or it will calculate training time. So this teacher 9, who is our ECT1, has now been calculated as 10% of their available teaching time is now given to training. So the members of staff you can see identified here as ECT1s have got that 10% time. If you want to give other members of staff training time, like for example the leader, you can edit this cell and give them some training time. It may be that someone on the national professional qualifications is given some time in their year of submission to undertake the training, and therefore you can give that time identity here. It's not management time or standard non-contact time, it would be identified as training time. So moving back to our staffing tables, there is the time that is identified within this school as training time, but it's taken from the teacher availability, so from our capacity down to what is actually teaching time, and then the classifications of elements that we've got that are contributing to that non-teaching time investment. Now, in addition to this, we've provided you with some additional tables which will give you some more information. So the trainees, the number of trainees in this school is identified as 7, 2 of which are on NPQ programs. And then if we go down, 1 member of staff is on a career entry program, 3 are ECT1s, 1 is ECT2, and 2 are on NPQ programs. Now obviously we've calculated, as per the advice, 10% non-teaching time for an ECT1 and 5% non-teaching time for ECT2. Now, depending on your cycle, it may be that you need to add standard non-contact time to round up the period. So if it comes down to a 15-period week and it's 1.5 periods, you might add half a period of non-contact time to make that person's allocation to the right level. But that's a difference between the statutory provision of 5% or 10% and the practical application of the timetable and the cycles that you give. In a primary school, obviously, you wouldn't consider the half an hour or half period as an issue. It is more problematic in the granular nature of secondary timetable delivery. But in terms of the delivery, you've got tables and charts here that will give you that information. As far as the chart is concerned, that training time is identified both at the top here within the bought and planned comparison and in the contact ratio and its delivery. You'll also see some changes in the finance tables where data identifies standard non-contact time, unassigned teaching, and then particularly training down here, the amount of training periods, the amount of time that's given to staff development and so on. So each of the tables have been edited to deal with that upgrade. And then back to the dashboard, and again that same training time is reflected in the chart at the front. Just a small update to add to this update 13. You'll note that on the navigation symbols we've added a symbol, show help video. We've heard from a number of users that they would like some reminders and helps as to what goes on the app. So if you navigate to one of the panels, you'll see the inclusion of the new video link button, and they will be growing through the app over time, and they're held on YouTube. You will find a video which gives you an explanation of this particular element.